This outcome was inevitable.
Okay, the votes have been tallied. We have a three-way tie. We have a vote for the Double Zeta Gundam. We have a vote for the Heavy Arms Custom Endless Waltz. And we have a vote for the gun cannon. Let's click the spin and see who wins. Okay, so our winner is the Double Zeta Gundam. So now all we are going to do is start the building process, start recording process, and this will be at the beginning of the video after the intro. Hello everyone, and welcome to the second Marker 117 gunpla build. And after that wonderful wheel spin we just had, we now know that the next gunpla we're going to be building is the Double Zeta. This is a high grade. This is the same grade that the first build we did, which was the Jagadoga quest. And in Double Zeta, there's a core fighter, and then there is the back end of the core fighter, the front end of the core fighter, which forms to like the wave rider form or full armor form, and then that transforms into the Double Zeta. We are going to be trying different angles than from the last video. We are going to be doing some different things here, dipping our toes in different water to figure out what works. Alright, so when you get new gunpla, they usually come with these straps, one across one side, the other one across the other side. Just put them up there. So let's see what we got. So this model is from 2010, so this is even older than the Gyaradoga. So what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of runners. Here's the instructions. So that's what we're going to be working with. So it looks like there is at 35, 43, 46. So there's 46 steps to this. And then there's a transformation stuff. And then here's your basically what you're going to be dealing with. So this is it in robot form. This is it in, like I said, I think it's full armor or wave rider mode full armor, something like that. Because there's the core fighter, and then you have the, like I said, one section, the other section, paint code. Okay. Alright. Let's this going. Okay. So first things first, let's get all these winners out of the bags. This is the two beans, those can go through. One. Goes there. D, G. This is the polycaps. So definitely going to be going through that. For sure. This is runner A. And we have some stickers for the camera, for, I'm guessing, the mega particle beam cannon, maybe? I don't know. Well, one last bag. Okay. So this one is runner B. And this one is C. So it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you grab A1 and then you grab C1. So you got these little tabs and you just push it in like that. And then you grab the bottom part here and you're just gonna just push it in. That. See. Alright, next step is B2 and 1. So now you just put the two together. So you got these two pegs here, these two little pegs here, and you got the holes. So you just match them up like so. And then you just hear it snap. So, and then this goes here, bam, and then we just need a 27 and 28. So there's these holes, and there's these pegs. So you have the wider side, and they only fit one way. So that's a good thing. That. Also, there's these, just so you know, you see like little lines, that's for the top. That's another way you can tell which way it goes. But there you go. Now that's done. And then after that, they have you build more of the core fighter. So this time, and we're not getting in any polycaps yet. So we need E12, D4 and 5, D6, oh, we're using a correction sticker here. Where does it go? Oh, on the nose. So sticker. So sticker. Oh, they have the character. Okay, so I gotta look for the character. Okay, okay, I got it. I got what they're. So this one. This one goes. So this is basically the glass of the core fighter. So that's what the sticker is for. It's for the cockpit. Okay, so they have the little kanji for what sticker to use. So again, you still don't need to know Japanese. So yeah, E12, two of them, D4, D5, D6. And just push the other one in. Bam. Okay, I gotta make sure there's no stickers here. Okay, cool. Alright, so now you grab your fin, and there's a little hole here. So you just push it in like that. And then so there's notches inside here. And there you go. There's more of that done. Oh, okay. So there's a little notch here. You want to match it with the very outer. Okay, I thought it was just to just slide it in. Bam. There we go. So next, number 3. So we need F12, A15, and F11. So A15 is this one. And then okay. So there's these little cutouts, and you have this lip, and you're supposed to push it into it like that. I'm guessing this is going to become the chest, and that's probably where the head goes, would be my guess. And the bottom of that is B6, and we need polycap number 9. Let's see. And this goes in like this. And push it in. So something like that. So there's 2 holes here, 2 holes there. You just match it up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to take shiny dark. Okay, and then after that, we need B3 and more polycaps. So let's get B3. Okay. So these go in here, which is going to be your sockets for the arms. One. Two. And then this guy goes into there. So here's your hole. Bam, and then you have 3 pegs here, 3 pegs here, 3 holes here, 3 holes here, and then you just match them together. Because this is where the backpack's gonna go. Okay. Now we need D3 and 2. And then this one. So you got these slits here, and you got these fins. Just push them in. And then this one is just a cover, so 2 pegs, 2 holes. There you go. So there is these notches here, right here, notches here, 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 and here. You want the peg in front with the other peg, and then you just line up the things and just push it in and it snaps together. Now we need a 29C 7 and 8. So okay, so this is the head, or the. So there's these two tabs here, here, and here, and they go right in there. Just like that. And then two tabs on the back of here. Hole, tab, push that bad boy in, and then this goes over the cover like that. Now we need a 25, 26, and B4. Okay. So what you do is there's holes on each side of these. There's a little tab here. You just push it in. Goes in pretty easily. And then after that, you have these two larger pegs, and you have these two holes here. Bam, bam. Ta-da! Oh, we need B5 too. For these little. Alright, so this is for the head. So hole, peg, right in there. Into the polycap. Okay, they are supposed to be flush. Got it. And then the longer one is for the actual joints. Or right? Yes. Oh, but this is the wrong end. This goes over here. Okay. Bam. And then we just get this one off. There we go. So D8, 7, and C6. Okay, so we need this. This goes on. I have it upside down. So the little red just goes in under the mast, and then there's a hole, and then the peg, and you just push, and you have a head. But it's a Gundam, so we need the fin, the V fin. And this Gundam has a medical particle beam cannon on the fin. So I need C9 and A32. Just push it on there. So the hole in the front, that's where these two go. So first you put the V fin, and then you put the red part on the top. Like I said, it's also a medical particle. Okay. And you push, and push. And there you go. And you just put the head on top. Careful with fins, they are fragile, so careful about that. Bam! Now we have the torso, the head, the core fighter. Okay, so next they're having you build the shoulders and the hands. Okay, so now we will start building the rest of this thing. So now that we got the head, next it looks like we are building the arms. So these 25 and 24. So basically, this big hole right here, there's just the polycap, and then this would go like that, but I gotta smooth it out first, especially since this is a joint. This is the shoulder basically. You need to be as flush as possible, because if it's not, then it's not gonna bend as smoothly as you want it to. Okay. So and that's one. Now we gotta do. So here I'll show you again. So basically, it's gonna go like that. So they want it. They want the hole, which is what you use to put it in the socket, right there. And then so that's that. Next, for the arm, it looks like we're building our more of the shoulder. B23, 22, and B19. And obviously two of those. If we take a look at here, so this plugs into this. And this goes like this. So basically what the instructions are saying is that when you're going to put this in here, if you look at where the peg is, you want the peg facing behind where this is gonna snap, because you got two pegs here, 2 hole here that goes in there, and then this also goes in here. I just gotta make sure it's facing the right way. So you want the hole facing out. Okay. So you want the hole in here. And then there we go. And you just do that for same thing side. So basically they mirror each other. So you got 2 pegs here, go like that. And you want just like how this one is. This way is wrong because the peg is too close. But if you go the other way, this peg is farther out from the part, and it's going to go in. See? And then where there's going to be a hole here, that's where you're going to put this. And then you just put the other side on. Bam. And now we have the arm, or I guess just shoulders. Because I'm pretty sure this goes into here. But I'm guessing in, yep, the big hole. This big hole right here. Just a little bit of sliver of excess. So, like I said, this hole right here is for this part right here. Just push it in, and you just have them meet. There we go. What they're saying is that you want the one that rounds off facing the back. And then F1 is this one, so it goes like this, and then it goes like this. So what I'm talking about is right here. Let me get this to point. So there's this part right here. This is part of the part. This little part is not part of it. That's what you're supposed to cut off. But I wasn't sure, so I double checked the instructions and you look fast forward and yes, because it doesn't say anything about cutting that or not cutting that. It just says cut that part of it. Get my little pointer out again. So just like here, I'll put it flat so you can see it better. But this part needs to come off. This part needs to stay, so you need to cut right there. Because again, just like this one, it's that little nub that you want to keep. Like that. Just gotta make sure. Yeah. Okay. So I'll show you on the next one what has to happen. Now that I know what has to happen. What's going to happen is, so in here, there is a groove. So there's a groove here. See? Groove. So there's a little, so it's two holes, and these two fins right here, so you gotta get the fins next to the hole, but you have to do it flush, so then that way like that. So now, so I'll show it on this piece, right? Because this mirrors what you're going to be doing. So what you want is, so if you look at this little design here, this little down corner, you want that down corner to be the same way this is. So basically, this hole here and this hole So you want like this because it's gonna look like that on the side where you have, you know, this way I can bend it a little. Not really. Well, you're supposed to be able to actually. Maybe not. So basically that little arrow down is being flush with the white armor, and then you just squish the two together. And you just squish them together. Just make sure that the poly thread is not perfectly clean, so. Okay. Next. So the way you can tell is it only goes one way. And there's just a little hole. Can't really see, but trust me, there's basically, so there's a little, same thing on the other side. Bam. See, now that I'm building this part, now I know this is the wrist. at this. So blue really does show the stress marks. So, it goes like, okay. So it doesn't matter which ends, because it looks like they're the same length. So basically, this is going into this hole in here, like this. Bam. In. Blue part, right? See the hole? See the hole? Remember those pegs? These pegs that I said, make sure you don't cut them off? Let me get my pointer. The pegs, right? Do it with the light. The pegs, these guys. Two holes. Just push it. Ta-da! Now you do that on the other side. So basically, for the poly cap, you just want the hole facing out. So you have these little pegs here. You just push them in like that. See how this is flush one end, and down here it's got these two little nubs or covers. And on your poly caps here, they got these little runner fin guides, what do you want to call them? There's little holes in here. So you just do this and ta-da! Then you want the runners up for on top. Just push in. And now we get to actually put the arm and the shoulder to make the arm with the wrist. Yep. Make sure it's facing the right way. Okay, so blue top is top. You want the flap facing towards you. So you just push it in like this. Like that. See? And then you just grab red top, push it in, push it in. Ah, yes. I'll show you again. So you got the blue top. So again, the cover part, just push it in like that so it's covered. The other thing is you want to make sure that the flat part is on the inside and the part is on the outside. So again, red, push it in. There we go. We have arms, but we're not done. There's still more pieces. So there's, let me get my pointer up for y'all. So there is these little pins here, boop boop, and there's these little nooks, these little indents here, and you want the peg down for the longer wing. And you just slide it in. Like that. Oh, also to know which way to use, on the bigger wing, there's these vents. No vents on the other side. Oh, and to know which small one, the pegs are inside, so you want the pegs facing in. So for this one, it's going to be this one, because the pegs are facing the opposite way for this one. So like I said, there's these little indents, and then these little nubs. And you just do this. Just slide it in, push it, and it should just go right in. Well, mine didn't go in all the way. There we go. Now it's in no. Hmm. There we go. See, now it bends. That's how you know you did right. You might have to like wiggle it in like I had to. But then, remember the hole? The hole? Peg? Yes. Damn. Hold on. Go in. Do I have this one in on the way? No, it's in. What the hell? Damn, that's a tight fit. Okay. Oh, by the way, peg, hole. Let me switch it, because fingertips are not bad on this side. Okay, so I guess the best way to do it is to just keep rocking it back and forth. Okay, and then this is a lot different than I thought it would be. Again, peg, peg. Put the more damaged side in the back. Aha! Okay. So this peg right here goes in this hole right here, and you want the flat part facing down, so like that. So you got flat, and then it like comes like ramps down basically. Hole, and that part we just added has that little hole, well, indent I guess. On this tab, smaller tab, and you just put them together like this. Okay, now you just do that for the other side. So there's this hole up here, or down here. So that top hole goes with this peg. To know which way it goes, you have a longer peg here, a long peg here, a shorter peg here. So you just put them in, and then with this peg here and hole here, you got a peg and a hole. Just like that. And then it moves, rotates. I don't know what this is for. Oh, okay. So then there is this little bar, and you just put the wing in it. Which way do you want it facing? Okay. So all you do is you want it where, so you want the peg facing in. This is not the right way. You want it this way, and then you just push it in. And then you have a wing, which then so you have a little hole here, you have this peg, and you just put it in, and then bam, and then this goes into the leg, and I'm trying to remember, I don't know which side's which for the universal. They look the same to me. Oh, okay, got it. So on your legs, you have the yellow. You have the yellow piece. That's the outside. So this one goes into this one, like that. And then the next one is going to go on the other side. No, no. I take it back. This does not go on this one. So yellow, so the yellow is the front. So then you want it on this one. Because each of the joints are not universal. Technically, I guess none of it is universal. Now we get to do that again. So, just like before, on the one side, you got peg, hole, and then where the polycap is going, facing through here. So there's these two notches here, where the little wings, I guess you can call them, go in. Doesn't matter which end because they're the same, you know? Bam. Okay. So, you got this like grill looking thing. And you got this little fin right here. You just put them in it. Like so. Bam. And then, you're going to put it in one of these, either side, doesn't matter. That part's universal. Now you just do it on the other side.
This is Judo Ashta, Double Zeta, launching!
To change it to the different forms, what we need to do is we still need to grab a couple pieces off these runners. We still have 1, 2, 3 runners and some polycaps. I don't think we're using polycaps for this. So first things first, you definitely need to take a hand off that has your gun, because this is part of the transformation. So first things first. So transform it, you take off the backpack. You take off the head. Be careful of the careful of your fins because they are very fragile. Arms come off. Basically, you are basically dissecting this thing. Not completely, but alright, torso off, legs off, all that to the side. So you're going to grab your chest here. You're going to take off these little vents on the chest. You're also taking off this blue piece. Okay. You're also taking off the red piece. And this is what you're left with. You're left with basically a torso with a lot of parts off. And now we need to grab another new part. Basically what I did is I smoothed this here, I smoothed this here, and I smoothed this here. So now, with your torso with a lot of stuff off it, you got the blue part in the back facing, and you want to make sure that the stuff that I sanded is facing towards you, and you just put it like that. So I'm going to grab the tabs that the blue vent these pieces were on, and just push it on. Okay. Next, you're going to grab your blue piece in the front, and that's going to go so basically what I did is you got the two holes here, two holes. You have these pegs here. These pegs. You're going to just push them onto each other. Like that. Okay. Then you grab your blue pieces that you took off before. And just put them put them back on. Do this one. Okay, I see what I did wrong. This isn't fitting. That's because this is supposed to be upside down. So you put it up, I had it upside down. So then you just put your two blue pieces on here. Okay. That. So now you got that. So if you're so in other words, the head, the part you're smoothing is facing it, but you're building on the other side. So now we grab this little blue piece off the runner. Basically, this is just covering up this hole, which is where the head used to be. Or no, this is the backpack, my bad. So you just grab the little pointer. So there's a little, in one spot, there's a peg hole where the backpack used to be. You just put them together to just cover it. And then bam, you don't see that big hole. Now, you're going to grab your gun, you're going to fold this inwards, you're going to turn these around, turn it around, fold this down, and put them up. I don't think there's any like locking or anything to keep them there, so that's just where they're going to be. Now you grab your red piece and put it over, and then you grab this, and then you just hover it over. Okay. So basically what I did, so the part that I sand real good right here, there's these, it's like cut like a hat. The end, the very end, thin parts, and then inside the gun, you got a little thin part here and a big square part here. And just plug them together. And it's going to look like that. Okay. Now we grab the arms. By the way, these were supposed to stay with the shoulder, and you're supposed to take them out later. That didn't happen, obviously. So I'm gonna take these out real quick. There we go. Okay. Take both hands off. We're not using the hand. Okay. Now, we're just turning the top part 180. Bam, bam. Okay. And then you fold this down. So then it's going to look like that. In other words, you just turn the blue part and just turn it all the way around. And then just do the same thing with the other one. Okay. So they mirror each other. Okay. Now we're going to be adding thrusters from here. We're adding the A10, which are the small guys. And then we just put this on. I'll show you. You have the peg. You want the hole. You want the blue facing towards. Something like this. Okay. And then you just turn these red parts. So flip the red little one up. So turn it up. And this is one option as a chord finder, is this one. Now we're going to grab our legs and we're going to turn them all the way around. Okay, like that. So this was the front, now the fronts are being back. Now we just pull the legs off. Okay. Okay. We're going to pull the feet off. And we're going to be pulling off all these pieces. So, bam. 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 These little pieces here come off as well. They don't, so this is what you're left with after taking off all the pieces off it. Now we're going to grab these pieces, put them back on, but they'll be flush now instead of being sticking out for the feet. Okay. Now we're going to cut off the thrusters off here. thrusters are clean. So the red part, that's where the thrusters are going. Now before I put on the other thruster, there's stuff we took off. Well, now we gotta put it back on. So the yellow, you want the yellow facing down. So here, I'll show you. So there's a little hole and a big line, little big bag. Okay. And then you can put it back on the leg. So pretend so okay. So that's one. So now we just do exactly what we just did, but on the other ones. Okay. And we put it back on the leg. So this is what you have now. Okay. Now you just flip these up the sides. And then you just turn them 90. Okay. Now we're gonna go here and we're gonna take off this little piece here. We're gonna go to the backpack now and we're gonna take off this red piece. Okay. Because we're gonna grab this red piece. For that runner. File those ends that we cut it off from. Oh, also, you want to push in the beam savers. Normally you have them out. Oops. Normally you have them facing out for the beam saver. Just close it. I don't know. What we do now, let's grab this. You're going to grab your backpack. The hole that the little guy was, that's going to be where this big boy goes. Okay? Just push that in, nice and flush. Okay. We're going to grab. So how's it going to work is you got red tab here, goes into the hole here that was covered by this little piece. You have these two holes here with these two gaps there. They do not snap together. They don't snap anything. So they're still loose. And then what you can do is you grab your core fighter and you just pull it off like this, right? And then you're just gonna move it in all the way. So instead of it being one tab over, you just push it in. So, like that. So where it's more compact. And then what you can do is you can put core fighter, okay, like that. And if you want to put it on a stand, there's a little hole way down in there on the red part. The big long red part that we just put on, there's a point for it. There's a hole for it, so you could put a stand on it. And then we just need one final part off the final runner. This big guy. What this big guy is going to do is basically make it so you don't lose a lot of these little pieces that you just pulled off. So now we have our two pieces of the G Fortress. These are the core fighters. So basically, to put it in the G Fortress, you just take out the core fighter and then you just grab these guys just put them down, and then there's the ball joint right here, and then there's a hole right here, because remember this was the double zeta, so chest, and you just push them in. Careful of the beam sabers. And then that's what it's going to look like. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. However, it does come with this piece right here, which you can put most of the pieces of the Zeta on here instead. So like if you want to display it, there's this right here, this like little T. And then if you look under here on the red part, you have a hole. So you just put this in there. So basically how it's supposed to work is, so basically these little arches, those are going to be touching the legs. So see how it, see the red piece? It's not a perfect fit whatsoever, but once you push it on, you can readjust the blue fins back to the bottom. So that, just be fair warned that these pieces on the bottom, these pegs right here, they are loose. They are not super tight. But now, with this, kind of does its own thing. Kind of like, and with this, this also helps with stability. So basically, also is you have kind of another spot to put. So you can use this hole here, this big square. You can use that for the stand instead. So it stays more vertical, horizontal, whatever. Size-wise, it's basically the same, like standing up, kinda. This part cheats because this is the gun, so like the gun on the double Zeta is huge. But to give you a comparison, here's our first gunpla build that we did, Jagadoga, and this is it. So it's much longer than the Jagadoga in a G-Fortress. One thing I wish they did is if you have the beam saber effects, these would have been perfect. You know, if they had little holes in there. So like if you had little holes in there, you could be having firing effects, you know, but unless you yourself get like a Dremel or something, that's not gonna happen. You know, so you can open up the missile pods. So like this is basically what you're gonna get, like completely done. So because of the wings and stuff, you will have to like readjust to make things look right. And like I said, with the underbelly part, just be careful because that stuff will fall off.
You underestimated the Double Zeta.
Whoa, this rocks! The Double Zeta's a powerhouse!
So now we're going to review the Double Zeta. So this is it right here. Because of the backpack, you're kind of limited to like poses you can do. He comes with 2 weapons. One is you just grab the beam saber. And because it's the Double Zeta, brother's got a long ass sword, long ass saber, just to show you an example. Here's what the Jagadoga looks like. The beam saber is not longer than the mobile suit. The beam saber is longer by a lot. I'm actually... Yeah, the beam saber is as tall as the Jagadoga, but the Jagadoga is taller. It's... Jagadoga is here. Double Zeta down here. Now, Double Zeta is an older suit. So, between Double Zeta and Charge Counterattack, I mean, the Zazabi is a monster in size. I think the new Gundam is about the same height, maybe a little shorter. Like, you know, to dueling, it's kind of a not really much of a competition there. So definitely the first fallback of this gunpla, you can only have, you get 3 hands. You get a beam saber hand / open hand. And just put it back here. So you got the missiles back here, so you can have it open. So yeah, you got an open hand, you got a fist, no matter what, on the left, and then you can also have the rifle. And like the rifle is almost as tall as the Zeta, Double Zeta as well. Again, because of the backpack and these shoulder pieces, you kind of have to make do with what you got. So like this is kind of like the best you're gonna get, like straight wise, and because again it's on a ball joint and it's also kind of heavy, so like, that's kind of the best you're gonna get for it to be like. Now you can take off the backpack, you know, so you can see like a better idea. Like, so like without the backpack, again, it's so heavy that it just doesn't want to stay. So what you could do, take the backpack off, put it to the position you want it. So like something like that. So basically, you got the, so you got these little like, I think they're supposed to be vents, but you could kind of use the vents to like grab on to part of the, I guess the saber like input, like generators. So like you can use the vent to like grab, so you take the backpack off, you put it into position like I have it, and then because of the vent you can have it on and it kind of holds it like that. So beam shield up, you know, shield up, shooting. That's probably how I'm going to leave mine. There is a hole back here. Bring it in closer. So right here is a little peg, so you can put it on a stand like that. With it in G4, you know, G-Fortress, you got that big gray thing that had that peg. The cool thing about that gray peg, or that gray piece, is that you can put the most of the access parts. So you got the thrusters. So these are the front. These are the rear ones. So these, and the transformation, like you see in the transformation. like you're gonna see in the transformation that basically there's a lot of leftover parts. When you have it in robot form, all you have is this is all the leftover pieces you have if you keep it built as a robot and you have the gun attached to it. That's how I'm going to keep it. It's just for display and storage wise. It's more stiffer this way as well. Like Jagadoga, it's so light. The Jagadoga has so much less weight on it. Like this gun weighs nothing compared to this gun. This gun, like these barrels, like weigh just as much as this whole gun. So yeah, this is your double Zeta. This is the one that won the votes, or I guess won the poll, because only 3 people voted. I like the double Zeta. This gunpla, if I would rate it, I would say the Jagadoga is definitely a lot kinder when it comes to poses, when it comes to durability, when it comes to accessories, because you also got the closed version of the funnels. Double Zeta, realistically, you could buy 2. You could have one as a robot form, and you could have one in the G-Fortress form. I will say that when it's in G-Fortress form, it's a lot more stable. There's a lot less moving to it. I'll probably keep mine in like this position where you have the fins which act like a shield, and then you got the gun, missiles open. It's definitely not a bad gunpla whatsoever. If you tighten it up, it definitely would be a lot easier when it comes to poses and stuff. Again, it's just annoying that you can't really do much with the double Zeta. Like, you can't pull out both beam sabers and have them hold both beam sabers. It's only one because you only get 3 hands. You get 1 hand for the right, or you get 2 hands for the right, 1 for gun, 1 for saber, and you get a fist for the left. If I rated the Jagged Dota 1 out of 10, I would say accessory wise, I would probably give it an 8. Like I said, you got the clear tubing to act like the funnels are out in attack form or going to attack. You got them in the closed form where they're just in storage mode. You got 2 beam saber lengths. And then you got the minigun, which does have the tripod, which does have the tripod handle, so you can put it in the hand. Double Zeta, you get 2 beam saber effects, but you can only use 1 beam saber. Again, if you could Dremel out the top of these, or the bottom of the saber, so where you can have it like that in its G Fortress mode, it definitely would get more points. So I would say accessory wise for the double Zeta, I give it a 4, realistically. Like, there's really not, they really dropped the ball, realistically. But again, it's from 2010. So I don't know exactly like how many of the older ones were kind of like that, where it's like, oh, we're gonna give you more, beam sabers. I think realistically what it is just in case you break one of the beam saber effects, you have another one as a backup. But like, there's no backup hands. There's nothing really to it. Transforming it, again, I thought it would not, like, you would have to take it apart and all that stuff to turn it into one form to the next. So that's definitely a negative to me, but I don't think even the Master Grid one, I think the Master Grid you still have to take it apart. And so that's just my thing, because you play the games and they don't come apart. But I do believe if you start a mission with the double Zeta on certain video games, you do see them like form to the double Zeta in the beginning. So puzzleability wise, I'm gonna say a 4. Look wise though, it doesn't look bad. Like, you got the correction structure, but there are different color separations, so it's not all one piece. Again, it's an older model, so they didn't really go really into it like they are now with the new stuff coming out. I would love to see this in real graded, what they would change. I really hope that if they ever make a real graded of the double Zeta, that you can transform it from G Fortress mode to robot mode without taking off anything. Maybe taking off hands and feet, but other than that, but that's just me. So overall, I would say compared to the Jagadoga, I would say the Double Zeta it is a little underwhelming compared to the other one. But again, Jagadoga is 2016. This is 2010, so 6 years later, they start making a lot better stuff. I think also if they just made like a wider gap between, because you just got this little red piece, so it's flush. I think if it was more out, so that way you could, like you could form, like you could move the arms without having to worry about like the armor stuff. But it's definitely a gunpla that you could pick up, you could build. It shouldn't take you forever. If you're not recording, you could probably do this in like cutting it off the runners, sanding it, probably within, if you're newer like me, and if you just sit down and do it, you could probably do it within 5 to 6 hours. It's still available, and its price at the average $30 to $35. The only warning I would say about this gunpla is that the dark blue pieces, they showed the nub marks the worst. So my advice is to leave extra runner on the piece and then just sand down to reduce the nub marks from showing. Instead of showing the gunpla I still have left to build in the slideshow at the end of the video, like in the previous gunpla video, they will now be in their own video continuing forward to make things a little easier on both the viewer and me to tally up the votes. This is Marco117 signing off.